Okay, so we're some way into the new year, and for some of you, those New Year's resolutions are already a distant memory. Don't worry, it's not you. They often don't work. Changing our habits is hard, but there are a few things that you can do to set yourself up for success, and willpower is not one of them. Willpower is just not enough, however strong you think you are. Change is influenced by how you feel. Our emotions are so much more important to our success than we probably realise. Very simply put, how you feel determines what your neurochemistry looks like, and this sets you up physically and psychologically for the task at hand. Most of us don't pay much attention to how we feel. We just drift along, maybe noticing the extremes, sometimes even only noticing the bad stuff. I've talked a lot about emotions in my other videos, so for now, just know this. The more attention you pay, the clearer you become about how you feel, and the easier it becomes to notice what you need. So what does help? The number one thing is make it easy, and I'm going to come back to that. Second is be intentional. And what I mean by this is really understand why you're doing what you're doing. And I'm going to share a little story about my dad here. When we were kids, my dad was quite a heavy smoker. And for many years, even though he had a respiratory condition, an asthma, he puffed away, not really caring about it. Yeah, he knew the health risks, but he enjoyed smoking. He enjoyed smoking with his mates when he had a beer. It was part of who he was. And then one day we were at an outdoor concert. I was probably about 18, 19, something like that. My younger sister, a younger teenager, was there with some of her friends. And every time he went over to them, they moved away a little bit. And in the end, my dad said to me, honestly, teenagers, what's wrong with them? And I said, it's because you're smoking, Dad. They don't like the cigarette smoke. And his face in that moment, I looked like I'd broken his heart. But do you know what? He gave up 2 weeks later, and it literally saved his life. But his motivation to stop wasn't that he knew it was bad for his health. It wasn't that it wasn't socially acceptable to smoke anymore. It wasn't about the cost of smoking. It was absolutely about the fact that his daughter was embarrassed by him. That was his reason for giving up. That was the thing that he connected with. That was the thing that was powerful enough for him to make a change. You see, when we understand why we make the changes that we make, when we really feel that reason, then we can do the hard stuff. Then we can endure what it takes to create a new habit, because the cost is too high not to. When we don't have that, the minute it starts to get difficult, we fall back into our old habit. We go back to doing things the way we've always done with them, because life's busy and we take the easy route. Number 3 is pay attention. When you pay attention to where it's easy to implement your new habit in your life and where it's harder, it becomes easier to plot your path to success. Now, when I talk about where it's easier, you'll probably see some similarities with your core values in life, with how you really want to live your life. Because when we try to change our habits, we're usually working towards something that we want, or we're working to stop doing something that we don't want to do anymore. Something that's really important to me is eating well, is, if you like, eating clean. Obviously, I want to put good stuff into my body, but also I don't want to create waste, food waste or packaging or plastic waste. When I pay attention, it's really easy to do that at home. I have everything set up to do that in my kitchen. It's the way we live. We cook from scratch. It's easy. But I spend a lot of time out on the road for work. When I'm out on the road, it's hard to do that. When I pay attention to it, I notice how hard it is. I notice how often I'm eating in hotels or I'm diving into service stations. And I don't feel good about that because I'm not living my values. So when I start to look at this, there's a number of things that I can learn from where it's easy and translate into when it's harder. If I pay attention when it's easy, I can make a little bit of extra food and take it with me. Or I can just prepare something simply to take it with me. Or I can mush up some vegetables and make myself a thermos of soup. There's lots of things I can do if I'm paying enough attention. So think about this from your point of view. When you pay attention, you'll find ways of introducing your new habit into the areas that it's a bit harder in your life at the moment. Number 4 is about charting your progress. Very often, we keep looking ahead and we keep looking at how far we still have to go. And that can be really demoralizing and demotivating. And in that, we forget to look back and see how far we've come. And all you see are the mountains ahead of you. So if you really want to make change stick, if you really want to sustain it, remember to look back. Remember to chart your progress and measure your success. Think about this in a work context. The things that we measure are the things that get done, aren't they? Whether you work in the public sector and you've got targets or standards that you have to live up to and are measured by, or whether you're in the private sector and you've got KPIs that maybe even influence how much you get paid or not. You deliver on those, don't you? Because you're paying attention, because you're measuring them, you're charting the progress against them. So when it comes to habits and change, what are the small wins? What are the little things that you can do to measure your success? Because that charting your progress gives you the roadmap for the next mountain and the mountain after that. That's the thing that will keep you going. That's the thing that will build your resilience. So let's circle back to making it easy. When things are easy, we do them, don't we? When things are hard, we find excuses, or we're too busy, or it just doesn't happen. So if you want to make your habits stick, make it easy. The first and most important thing about making it easy is to plan for your change. This is about setting yourself up for success. So in my case, it's about preparing a little bit of food the night before. Or if you want to be more productive, it might be about switching off your notifications, leaving your phone in another room so that you can actually focus on the thing that you're doing. Remember, most change is about marginal gain. It's not about radical upheaval. It's those little things that cumulatively make a really big difference. And I think one of the things that helps us get this marginal gain is repetition. You wouldn't learn to play an instrument without repeating the same chords, the same thing over and over and over. You wouldn't run an endurance event without practicing, building up that muscle memory, building up that stamina. Any change that you want to make is just the same. Keep it aligned to your values. Keep repeating it until it becomes the thing that you automatically know how to do. Then you've nailed it. So I think it's time to relook at this whole New Year thing. You can make change whenever and wherever you want to. And this is how you do it. First of all, think about how you want to feel and what this really means for you. So how is it aligned with your values? Because those are the things that will make you change. Then think about, where have you already got this in your life? What can you model? What can you draw from? And remember that it's actually about marginal gain. What is it that you can start doing or stop doing that will enable you to start to make that difference for yourself? Chart your progress, measure your success, and good luck on your journey.